What's new this month at Rogers Railroad Junction? The new year is rolling right along and entering the month where we celebrate romance, America's national religion, and the wisdom of getting weather forecasts from an oversized squirrel. It's also the time when our post-holiday inventory starts arriving in earnest. And in this case, that means FEF-class Northerns from Athearn Genesis. Built starting in 1939, the FEFs represented the pinnacle of steam on the Union Pacific, and although locomotives like the Challenger and Big Boy types could easily outpull them, nothing else on the system could match the sleek lines and high-stepping grace of these 484s, which, incidentally, is precisely what the letters FEF stand for. Available in either basic black or two-tone overland gray, these tributes to one of America's most iconic locomotive classes incorporate lighted number boards, adjustable cab windows, and blackened metal wheels into their design, as well as the option of either an oil or coal tender, operating signal light on the nose, and an ESU lock sound decoder. Continuing with the Genesis line, we have SDP-45s in the ever-colorful Kodachrome livery. Marking the first time that Genesis has released these units in this scheme, Kodachrome was an artifact of the famed and failed Southern Pacific Santa Fe merger of the late 1980s. A combination of Southern Pacific Red and Santa Fe Yellow, the scheme bore a certain resemblance to the iconic film boxes, and ultimately became a symbol of what happens when one counts their corporate chickens before they hatch. A passenger version of EMD's venerable workhorse, these units are identified by the presence of icebreaker bars on their roofs and a steam generator in their tail ends. SPSF, shouldn't paint so fast. And speaking of the Santa Fe, Genesis is also out with GP7Us this month. An in-house rebuild of a factory stock GP7, Jeep 7Us were a popular option for railroads looking to extend the service life of their existing locomotive fleets, rather than invest valuable capital in newer power. Featuring many exquisite details, such as a detailed fuel tank with filters, etched metal grillwork, a full set of MU connections, working rooftop beacon where applicable, and Athearn's new primed for grime finish, prepped and ready for your preferred weathering techniques. And as with all Genesis diesels, there's an available Tsunami 2 decoder with dual-mode digital control. Then there's Athearn's ready-to-roll lineup with EMD SD39s. Essentially a downsized version of the venerable SD40, SD39s featured fewer cylinders than their more robust cousins, resulting in less horsepower, but also better fuel economy. Considered something of a niche locomotive in the EMD catalog, only 54 of these machines were ever built. With a feature set that includes freestanding grab irons, FAR-style radiator grills, a feature peculiar to SP units, see-through grillwork and a working Mars light, the SP trademark L-shaped windshield and extra-tall pilot plow all serve to complete the effect. And also from Ready to Roll, spine sets for all your piggyback needs. A mainstay of modern intermodal service, spine cars such as these are known for their light tear weight and placement on some of the hottest trains on rails today. Featuring knuckle couplers, metal wheels, optimized weighting, and see-through metal end platforms. Then there's Walthers, who's out this month with GP35s in their Proto line. Debuting in 1963, over 1,300 of these versatile 2,500 horsepower road switchers were built over a 3-year period. Purchased by many roads as a replacement for aging first-generation diesels, most examples are still in service today. With a feature suite that includes illuminated number boards, freestanding grab irons, full end detail, and separately applied plumbing, a 5-pole motor and Protomax couplers are also included, as is the option of a digital command system with full sound effects. But that's not all that Walthers has been up to lately. There's also 50-foot AAR mechanical refrigerator cars from their mainline series. Built to replace smaller stage reefers and their reliance on trackside ice production plants, these cars first appeared in the 1960s and remained in service for more than 4 decades. Features include rooftop exhaust vents, brake rigging and fuel tanks underneath, see-through roof walks, and Protomax couplers. There's even cars of the famous Pacific Fruit Express, an artifact of the Harriman era when Southern Pacific and Union Pacific were jointly controlled by the industrial tycoon Edward Henry Harriman, a conglomerate that was deemed a monopoly and broken up by federal regulators in 1909, then allowed to be remerged in 1996 because reasons. Coincidentally, reasons is apparently the new term for lobbyists. Then we have KD and 50-ton offset hoppers. Noted for the reverse slope profile of their reinforced top rail, these open-top haulers carried coal and other aggregate materials throughout the 1950s and 60s. It's the same era that brought us our other KD offering this month, namely PS1 boxcars. Once the most prolific of all railcars in existence, the lowly boxcars become harder and harder to find in recent years. But these journeyman haulers of bulk cargo live on in exquisite detail thanks to KD, featuring operating doors, see-through platforms, and barren roofwalk brackets, marking these cars as post-1968 rebuilds. And of course, there's the air hoses, brake rigging, and metal wheels and couplers that define all KD products. And then there's Intermountain, who's offering a trio of new items, starting with 40-foot 12-panel boxcars. Hailing from the same era as the KD offerings mentioned above, these cars feature a lower price point, and yet maintain many of the same features, including barren rooftop brackets and high-mount brake wheels. Additionally, there's steel coil flats. Featuring see-through catwalks and removable hoods, these short yet stout cars can be found in heavy industrial service, carrying rolls of sheet metal from foundries to manufacturing plants across the country. And finally, we have composite gondolas as well. Built roughly between the turn of the century and the end of World War I, these cars featured wooden sides and floors supported by steel frames and bracing, a perfect mixture of old and new construction techniques. As with all Intermountain products, wire grab irons, full underbody detail, prototypical lettering, and blackened metal wheels are all standard features. And then we have N-Scale, which is the domain of Atlas and their 2-truck Lima Shea. Developed by Michigan lumber baron Ephraim Shea in 1878, Shea sold his patent to the Lima Manufacturing Company in 1852, thereby creating this iconic backwoods crawler. Available in several different road names and lettering styles, these models feature both the familiar right side and the mysterious and seldom photographed left side of the Shea. Then there's Microtrains, who's bringing us home this month with 3 freight car offerings, namely 39-foot tank cars, 40-foot double-sheath box cars, and 40-foot refrigerator cars. All Microtrains products feature knuckle couplers, finely cast side and end detail, metal wheels, and even operating doors in some cases. And all this is packed into only the shortest month of the year. So what will we have next month? Why not stop in and see for yourself? at Rogers Railroad Junction today.